Hi, this is Karen with InspiredByGram.com. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm bringing you one of my card designs from our August Card Club. It looks like this, real simple but elegant card. This could be any kind of card. Doesn't necessarily need to be congratulations. It could be birthday, sympathy, whatever. So just made a nice, quick, easy card design. So let's get started. We're going to be using Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper. This is a 6x6 paper pack. Lots of fun, bright colors for every season. The stamp sets we're using, using the flower shape here from Beautiful Friendship. And for the sentiment, congratulations, I'm using Here's a Card. So we'll be bringing in the new die and embossing machine. I love that it's compact and that it just folds right up. And I love that the plates are all numbered. So we're going to be die cutting first. So I've got plate number 1. And then it tells me that I need to use number 2, which is this plate here. Then I need number 3. Then I need my die and my scrap Whisper White. And then I need to finish off with number 3 again. So it just gets all slid in there. What I do is, to get the machine started, I just give it a nice little push and then I just crank it through. It's basically really, it's so smooth. It's so smooth like butter, really. It's the only way I can describe it. How it transitions right in the machine there. And then here's our die cut. I like the Tasteful Labels dies because it has this nice little elegant embossed image right along the edge. All right, so we're done with the die cutting. Now we need to emboss. So I'm using the Subtles embossing folder, which is a super thick embossing folder. And I'm gonna put my Whisper White cardstock in here. Now I need to transition my plates. So I'm keeping number 1. And then when you emboss the opening, let's my cardstock kind of get out of the way. Okay, the openings go in first now, so it's kind of reverse of what we're used to. And then number 3. Again, I'm just giving it a slight little push and then cranking it through. And then just transfer that back, this one back, this one and this one, and we've got a nice embossed panel here with the Subtles. The Subtles embossing folder is by far my most favorite embossing folder. So now just to close this up, you're just going to fold these up and it'll make a kind of a loud noise, and it's all done. All right, so let me just get these out of the way. All right, so now what we need to do is we're just going to assemble the card and do some stamping. So I need to get all of my panels out in my envelope, everything I need to stamp. I also need my piercing mat, and there we go, because we'll be working with photopolymer stamps as well. I've got my Pretty Peacock ink, and right now I'm just going to stamp that flower image in the lower corner of my inside panel, and this is Whisper White and it's cut 4 by 5 1/4. Then I'm going to take my die, making sure that the embossed side is up first or in front of you, and since this is red rubber cling, we do not need that piercing mat. So I'm just gonna stamp congratulations down. Really elegant font. Okay, so now we've got Misty Moonlight card base, and this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, already pre-scored. And we can adhere the inside panel. And I've got my stamp and seal. Haven't used it today, so it's the first time I'm using it. Get it started. This is just a 1/4 inch border on all 4 sides. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work with this panel here, and I've pre-cut a 3x4 piece of the Flowers for Every Season designer series paper. And when you cut it, you got to keep it in order if you've got a pattern, which you would normally, all papers have patterns. So I want to make sure when I put this down that I put them down in the correct order. So I'm just going to flip these over. And on the back side, we're going to add dimensionals. And I'm going to simply add 3 to each one. And I like to put the dimensionals closer to the edge on the top and the bottom part. It'll just give more support to the panel once you adhere it down. Okay, so now we got to remember that we got to keep them in order. So if it's easier for you, you can just flip these back over to make sure you have them in order, which I kind of highly suggest. Okay, so now we're going to work with this one, and I'm just going to use my thumbnail and press in the center of the dimensional backings and just pull these off. Now I'm going to adhere this one down in the lower, or it's a 1/4 of an inch border on the left side, and the top and the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to take the right side panel and do the same thing. Press the your thumbnail in the center of the backings. I'm going to flip it this way so I can see better. And again, a 1/4 of an inch border, top, bottom, and right. Now this one is going to go right in the middle. So if you're off a little bit, doing the one on the left, then the right, and then on the center, you can move it around so it does fit proportionately. Just taking those backings off. And now I'm adding this one in. It's about a 1/4 of an inch border on all 4 sides. And you see how now your patterns all match with this little space. So if you were to put them all together, they would be, the puzzle would be all together. All right, so now I'm going to take this, the combo, the Flowers for Every Season combo pack is great because you get 3 different options, twine and ribbon. So this is one of the offerings. So what I did was I just kind of put this around here because it's about the middle. This is also going to be popped up. So the reason why I did that is visually so I can see where not to put the dimensionals, because you're going to want to put one in the middle as well. So I like to kind of do this step first before I tie my bow. Again, I'm just going to press the dimensional centers and then just peel them off. All right, so let's bring our card base in. This is Misty Moonlight, and I believe I've already told you the size, but it's 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. So now I'm going to slide this twine, making sure it's underneath that dimensional. I'm going to add it to the card front, just looking at the top, bottom, left, and right. And then before I push it down or secure it, I just want to make sure that this twine is going to be moving so I can adjust it, which it is. So now I'm securing that panel to your card front by pressing on those dimensionals in the 4 corners and in the center. Now I'm going to create my bow. You can do a bow or you can do a knot, whatever you would like. I'm going to try to do a bow. And since this does move, you can kind of create your bow wherever you want and then slide it in place. Now I'm going to adjust the tails. Okay. I'm not going to cut this off yet just because I want to make sure it's good. I used a little bit too much twine, but that's okay. Okay, so now I need to slide this way over
So that's probably a good spot. Now we're going to bring in the sentiment again. This is also going to be going, we're going to add dimensionals to this. You got to make sure that you know that the twine's going to be going in the center. So you're going to have to offset your dimensionals. I'm going to use, let's see, I don't know how many I'm going to use. Let's see. And I think what I'm going to do is going to put a mini dimensional down here and over here. I'm like, this is like a lot of dimensionals. I don't know if you necessarily need that many, but that's what I'm doing today. Kind of just showing you how to use your regular size dimensionals and your mini dimensionals all in one. So I've got 6 on there, and I've got a couple that are just hanging over the edge. So I like to use my scissors. I don't want that showing, so I'm just going to cut it off. I'm using scissors that I don't really care about getting adhesive on. I'm just going to trim that off. And now we're going to add this to the card front. I'm going to slide it up underneath that bow. And what I'm looking for is the point of this die cut is in the center of that panel in the middle. And just give it a nice press. So now I know I can trim my tails off here. Okay, so that's looking really nice. If you wanted to, you could slide a glue dot underneath there. You can use take your pick tool and grab a glue dot and just take it off there and slide it up underneath. Press down on the knot and release. That way that bow is going to stay right there in place. So now the final step is going to be adding 3 rhinestones, because this looks a little plain right now. So I'm just going to take 3 rhinestones. I start in the middle, and then I'm going to add 1 to the right side and to the left side. So there's our card. So it's fairly simple and straightforward. You could make a lot of these because it uses the 3x4 panel. But here's the card. Oh, you know what? I never stamped my envelope. So let me show you also how I stamp the back side of my cards. Let me bring in my piercing mat because I'm transferring over to the photopolymer. First, we'll stamp the envelope right in the lower corner. So now I've used the first generation ink. The second generation ink I'm going to stamp on the back. It's just a nice little subtle flower. And then I'm going to take my personalized stamp right over that in full strength. And you can tell I need a new stamp because part of it kind of came off. It's so old. So I've got one ordered, but just disregard that mess. And then I'm going to add the Stampin' Up! Copyright rule. And that's abides by the angel policy from Stampin' Up! So there we go. So here's the card we made on camera with the coordinating envelope. I just love how our products, just coordinate. And then here's the card I made earlier today. So for the month of August, I'm offering free rhinestones, the Basic Jewels. And if you use this host code, and that information also can be found on my website, inspiredbygraham.com. And if you're looking for a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be working with you, and you can email me or just head over to the website, inspiredbygraham.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.